Okay, we got Melyssa Ford on the Joe Budden Podcast. She's going to explain why she initially took Halle Bailey's side, even though all the texts came out showing that Halle Bailey was a psychopath. Melyssa Ford still took her side, right? And this whole thing about postpartum depression, and because this was a part of the story, that's why she initially took Halle Bailey's side, and she's going to stick with it, and she's doubling down here. So they came back on the next episode. They asked Melyssa Ford, why are you doubling down? And Melyssa Ford reveals a personal story of hers basically she's going to explain why she doubled down on defending Halle Bailey, even though she was clearly wrong. But I find this quite interesting. You're going to get my take on this in a little bit.
EG and Halle Bailey conversation.
Oh, I heard about that.
Oh, yeah.
You was getting dragged for that.
Mel triggered because they was shooting at her and then she clapped back.
Let her get it off.
I haven't had a chance to hear that one yet because it was my wife's birthday, but I heard that people on the internet were saying that your response wasn't fair and that you had some facts wrong about whatever happened with some text or something. So I didn't see it, so I don't know.
And shout out to Lamont. I think I keep blanking on his name. I think Lamont Hill. I hope I'm saying his name right. What you're going to notice, he asks her questions that is actually giving her the opportunity to open up, right? This is something because people are going to look at Lamont Hill, and because he's a liberal, they're just going to dismiss what he's saying. But people don't understand. He was able to get the response that he got out of her was very interesting, because what a lot of these, particularly conservatives or, the what do black women call the Kevin Samuelites, right? The people that are new to the red pill, the mistake is what they do is they go on the complete offense on a 304, like a Melyssa Ford, and they just go straight into shaming them if they're being delusional or trying to bring God into this, and why are you not using facts and all this stuff. A lot of the times that's a mistake, trying to fight, because at the end of the day, you're not supposed to be arguing with a woman in general. Women are not there for facts. They're going to put their feelings first over anything. So if you can disarm them with certain questions, they might open up to you, and they might actually give you an insight on why they are putting their feelings over the facts. And then you can act accordingly right afterwards. So shout out to Lamont Hill.
I took a stance.
What was your stance? I really don't know.
My stance is with her. My stance is the fact that they're both young and they both, kind of like got into this whirlwind kind of romance or whatever else, and shit's gonna play out online because that's just what fucking young people do. But the reality of the situation is that she had a baby, and a lot of the things that she probably did
wasn't fair, and that you
get it off. I
haven't had a chance to hear that when your response wasn't. What was your stance? I really don't know.
My stance, and they both, kind of like got into this whirlwind kind of romance, had a baby, and a lot of the things that she probably. Situation is that she had a baby, and a lot of the
Sorry, I had to fast forward a little bit.
Things that she probably did and feelings that she had. I made the assumption that he was antagonistic in a lot of the things that he's done. I felt like he weaponized his fan base by, doing the whole hashtag free Halo thing and whatever.
My homie called me pissed at you. I still don't know. And again, I don't have the context. He was like, Mel thinks that if a woman's going through postpartum, that's an excuse to step all over my feelings and treat me like shit.
I didn't say that. I also brought up the fact that she has a restraining order on him for breaking into her house, taking a picture of her bed to let her know that he's been in her house without her permission.
Oh, yeah, but the story that is being reported is he broke into the house because you were threatening your mental health.
Okay,
so that's why you have these pictures of me in your home, because.
Shout out to Joe Budden laying down the facts. She tried to lie on DDG's name intentionally. That was not unintentional. That wasn't a thing of ignorance that she did. She just intentionally tried to lie on DDG's name. But thank you for Joe Budden for putting that out there.
I was in there trying to save you when I got these cuckoo texts.
Okay, so
let me just let Mark know that she opened with, "I don't care about the facts."
That was the only.
That was
okay. That was the problem.
That was.
She did say this. I don't have time to bring up the other video, the previous video where she was defending Halle. She did say, "I don't care about the facts," and this is why I tell you, do not argue with women. They're trolling you half the time. like when it comes to arguing with women, a lot of men make the mistake of trying to use facts and statistics and data. They don't, and evidence and pie charts. They don't care about none of that. This is why you're never going to see me have a female on my platform. I don't care if she even I don't care if she sees it on my side of things. You're not going to see a female on my platform, particularly when we start talking about issues like this, or we start talking about issues of men's rights or marriage or life happening. No, because most women have that mentality. I don't care about the facts. I'm riding with the woman, which is interesting because sometimes I wish men were at least not necessarily saying I don't care about the facts, but at least willing to see two sides of the story before demonizing a man that they don't know. Because I just want you to know, when women, I don't care, people be talking about, oh, women hate other women the most and women are their biggest enemies. It don't matter. Because when it comes to stuff that happens between a man and a woman, women are going to automatically take the woman's side off rip. So it doesn't matter if she hates her or women hate other women. When it comes to the important issues, they make sure they come together as one, as ultimate, 304 Voltron, and they come together as one to defend each other's 304ness. They defend each other's craziness. They will look you in your face when you're talking about another woman acting crazy or doing something treacherous. They will look you in your face and talk about, where are you meeting this woman? Meanwhile, at their job, they're at war with a woman exactly like you described. But they're going to act like you don't know what you're talking about. This is what women do. So it doesn't matter that they hate each other. They're always going to defend each other. Women are always going to defend women no matter what. No matter what.
Was the bar trigger people?
We gotta let her finish though. Because in her, a lot of women said that exact same thing. I don't care about the fact. I'm with her.
I said I'm standing
exactly
firmly on her side.
Okay. Very. Hold on. Let me finish.
I'm still trying to. Yeah.
It's just interesting to see how many men were like triggered by this kind of thing, But the reality
and like I said, she's just like, I can't believe men were triggered. Ma'am, you said I don't care about the facts. This is why I try to tell you. This is why the way they do things in the Middle East, I get it. I understand why. They don't give him any wiggle room to play both sides of the fence because their mentality, I don't care about the facts. Okay, if that's how you operating, we can't have you do certain things. You know what I mean?
and how vicious they got with it. It's fine if you don't agree with my opinion. That's cool. I don't care. Yes, I am going to stand on her side. I'm going to because I feel like I have an idea as to what she's going through. And then that's where people started to attack me. Mel has no kids, so she should shut the fuck up.
Okay. That's how we got here.
Exactly.
That's
and to me,
that's trash.
It's super trash because you all don't know me. You don't know anything about my life. You don't know anything about my choices. You don't know anything about what I've gone through. So,
well, it's a plausible, how about that? It's a fair criticism, right? But what a lot of men need to understand is just because you see a woman that is childless does not mean she was never knocked up. But right, and this is, I'm kind of hinting at where we're going here because Melyssa Ford is well known and she's known to she's never had any kids, right? So she's going to show you and kind of give a background story on why this is where she was.
So I'll just reveal a little something about myself. I was pregnant at one point and I lost it at 6 months. So I do know a little bit about postpartum because once you have a miscarriage at that stage, you will go through postpartum. I went through severe postpartum depression. This was a very long time ago. It's a part of my life that I don't like to fucking discuss.
Now, I'll say this. I think postpartum is a myth, but what was happening with her, and which happened to a lot of women that have baby deletions, they go through a mourning. Even if it's like 20, 30 years later, they end up regretting the baby deletion. And they think about, damn, what if the kid that I deleted, what if he could have been an artist? What if he could have been the president? What if he could have been a doctor? What if he could have been a productive member of society? And that's just mourning. That's not, to me, in my opinion, because I think postpartum depression is a myth, but that is something that many women go through post baby deletion, right? And they carry these ghost babies, you know what I mean? Or in Melyssa Ford's case, it was a miscarriage. Now, I have questions about that. Was it a miscarriage or was it? Anywho, maybe that's wrong of me to ask questions like that. You know what I mean? But the people that go through miscarriages and baby deletions, they get it's the same, postpartum like symptoms that they go through post the loss of their kid, right? Or their could be kid.
Obvious fucking reasons, but that is why I took that side because I felt like I could commiserate with what she was going through as a woman. Also, as a woman going through perimenopause, where my hormones are just having their fucking way with them. The only thing that I've been able to like get.
That wasn't you. I was asking somebody if I could.
Let me just wrap this up by saying I absolutely know something about your hormones having their way with you, just completely. Out of your control. The only thing that has made me see some semblance of normalcy is hormone replacement therapy, which I speak a lot about on my own podcast. This is not necessarily the platform, but I have a certain amount of empathy and sympathy and an understanding for her in a way that I didn't see a lot of people having for her. And so that is why I stood 10 toes fucking down.
There's women that are against Halle's actions as well. Plenty of them were mothers, plenty of them were not, but this isn't about, this is why I don't like this introduction of postpartum depression into the mix of the lexicon, because now what you're seeing is women are just using the term postpartum depression as an excuse or as a crutch to just be crazy and just do whatever, you know what I mean? Or if they harm the baby, or if they get caught harming the baby, or they're caught saying things about harming the baby or you as the father, then they could just always put it on, it's just postpartum depression. You just got, no. That's postpartum psychosis, which is a rarely diagnosed thing. But a lot of women are just claiming postpartum depression, and they're just using it as a crutch.
For that fucking girl. Everybody up here can stand 10 toes down on something, and you attack their stance, but you don't attack them. You all love to fucking attack me in vile, disgusting fucking ways. And honestly, I don't really care. I don't give a fuck if you're not on my fucking bandwagon. Those that are, love you.
Well, you do care because you're talking about it and you're about to cry.
Whatever. But I'm not trying to convince nobody to fucking like me. But keep it fucking cute. Seriously. Don't attack me like that, because you don't know, especially when it comes to a woman's fertility. You don't know what she has been through, what she has gone through. You don't know if because I lost that child, it rendered me infertile. You don't fucking know. So that's my point.
No, so I hear it.
Interesting. So apparently because of that specific miscarriage, it ended up affecting her fertility to where now she's unable to have kids. That's interesting. That's an interesting tidbit, especially when you look at the stuff that she has said in the past, the stances that she has taken. Now it starts to make sense. There's a lot of women that have gone through that.
Obviously, I knew this already. You and I talked about this. I know this for a long time. That's what I was alluding to maybe a month ago when you asked me what I learned from you about what to speak. I didn't want to speak about it directly because I didn't want to put your business out there. But you said it now. I think there's a cruelty.
Smart. Mark Lamont Hill, that's a clever boy. Don't get it twisted.
To saying you don't have kids, you know what I'm talking about, if they're assigning some character flaw or something negative, cruel.
Yeah.
I want to hold space for that because I think that's legitimate. Not you as a person. There might be things that parents.
I'm just trying to fast forward through Mark Lamont Hill's verbal gymnastics. Just that's the reason why I'm fast forwarding. It's just he wants to just kind of tightrope, walk around what he wants to ask her to see if he can get more out of her, which is very crafty. Real niggas know.
And what they say is a kind of shorthand is you ain't never had kids. And you're the kind of person who doesn't want to have all that stuff gets mixed together. And because that's also a sore spot for you, it creates a trigger for you, a legitimate, reasonable trigger. I mean, I also don't care because they're being that it was like to lose a baby.
Absolutely. And I totally.
And I just wanted to put that out.
Trust me, I totally understand that stance. And in all honesty, a lot of people don't check in with men to find out how they feel when a woman has lost a baby, how they felt about it. I absolutely, there's not a lot of space held for how men feel about that. But the crazy thing, and this is the last thing I'll say, and then Imani, you go ahead. No, I can't say that.
I was going to say, take your time.
No, I can't say.
But anyway, and I'm going to close this off with this. I think women of today, you have lost that right to bring up the whole, you don't know what it's like to be a mother, infertility. I think the ladies, including you, Miss Melyssa Ford, you've lost that right. There's been too much about how, women, we don't want kids, and I don't want kids, and you're pro baby deletion when it when it benefits you, when it doesn't benefit you. Seeing what I've seen for the past 5 years in particular, I think women, particularly American women, have lost the mother card. People talk about the black card, right, or white privilege, or all this stuff. I think the mother card cannot be used anymore as a shield. It can't. I've seen the stuff that you've said. I've seen the stuff that young women have have been saying these past 5 years. I've been seeing how women have weaponized the system to weaponize having a kid or not having a kid to determine how much money they can get from a man. I've seen young women just talk about baby deletion like it's just nothing, using it as a form of birth control, which I suspect Melyssa Ford was doing. And I suspect she had that miscarriage in her 30s, trying to play God. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, because we already know when it comes to miscarriages, these things usually happen with older women. that are trying to conceive. So I think women have lost the right to bring up the mother card. Just in my opinion, I'm talking about American or Western raised women I believe they have lost the right to bring up the mother card. So we can hold you accountable. No. Melyssa Ford, the fans, the people have a right to hold you accountable. You said, I don't care about the facts. The fans have the right to hold you accountable. I'm sorry. That's just my opinion. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. Do you agree with Melyssa Ford? Are you okay with Melyssa Ford just standing 10 toes down with Halle Bailey, even though all the proof shows that she is bat shit crazy? You know what I mean? Threatening to unalive herself, threatening to unalive her own baby when Halo was in her stomach, forcing DDG to basically be with her, or unless Halo was going to see The Undertaker. Halo was going to have never mind. That's the joke writes itself. But anyways, please let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for